Hello everyone, this is Dr. Shannon bringing you a message of hope today from the Inspire and day number 12 of our 11-11 21-day Love Your Life and Your Life's Work Well challenge. I have lovingly now referred to this time as my 11-11. So today's a perfect day for me to tell you my 11-11 story. Remember I said I love 11-11, sometime I'll tell you about it? Well, basically it goes like this. Years ago I met a friend, he was Catholic, and I would notice that throughout the day, randomly, he would do this kind of sign of the cross, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, and it was always at 11:11 or 1:11. And he told me the story of years ago when he was hurt in an accident. It was a what was it? It was a wrestling accident, and he was paralyzed. So he was a teenager. They took him to the hospital, and the next day he was scheduled for surgery. And what happened was during the night, he woke up. And of course, he noticed it was 11:11. He saw the clock on the wall, and he saw his whole room was lit up. And he literally said, like, I saw hands kind of over me, and he had a miraculous healing. Now, whether you believe that or not, I believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. And the guy was no longer paralyzed, of course. The next day, didn't have surgery, left the hospital, but that made such an impact on me. And he said, you know, it's so interesting. He said, ever since that time, every day, whether it's 11:11 a.m., p.m., or 1:11, he said, I will notice the clock randomly, and it's a reminder of the healing that he had in his life. So he goes, now that I've shared that story with you, it's going to happen to you. Because he said, when I tell this story, people are like, oh my gosh, now I'll wake up randomly. I go to bed at 10 o'clock, I'll wake up and it'll be 11:11, whatever. So that has been something that has stuck with me for over 2 decades. And literally, like, it happens like clockwork. And to me, it's a reminder that God is with me, that I'm not doing this journey alone. And, you know, the more I've kind of looked into this whole 11:11 phenomenon, some people call it, you know, it's time to make a wish, whatever. Well, let me tell you, falling in love with you, dating yourself well, it is not by chance. It is not up to wishful thinking. It is the fact. I mean, I will say this, for me personally, it's when I have noticed myself not being alone more than ever. It's when God has been his closest to me, is when I have learned this process, and during this process of learning to date myself well. As I said yesterday, it's been a long journey. And I will tell you, 1 year ago today, 365 days ago, I launched my book, Date Yourself Well, 12 Engagements of Becoming the Great Lover of Your Life, the ultimate engagement plan. And let me tell you, getting that written, getting that published, the process that not only went into writing it, but more importantly, the process that went into learning how to date myself well was years in the making. I told you on a previous episode about the fact that in the middle of the night, I asked God, I was like, God asked me, he said, Shannon, do you love yourself? And I didn't have really an answer for him. And he said, that's okay. I understand, because in order to love you, you must know you. And in order to know you, you must spend some time with you. So I began to do that for years. And I was like, well, then what next? And I heard in my soul, date yourself well. That is how my journey of dating myself well began. But it also began prior to that, as I mentioned yesterday, my poor me story. You know, going through, it's like multiple relationships that didn't work out the way I thought. And this whole idea of dating seemed really scary and really unappealing to me. But the day that I began to date myself well, what I found was a love that I'd never experienced before. And you know, it's interesting because at the time when I began to date myself well years ago, I, of course, went to Google. I started looking up, you know, what does it mean to date yourself well? And although I saw a lot of information on the topic, or not a lot, but some, I noticed it was more like all external care. Like, ladies, take yourself to, you know, to get a mani-pedi, or go to a spa day, or get a massage, or, you know, all of these very external things. And what I realized was I could do that, and you could do that too. And I'm not against doing that. I love that. That's part of my self-care, strategy. But when it comes to truly dating yourself, you can take yourself for a mani-pedi and you can get a massage, but you can still not be in a state of self-love. So what does it mean to have self-love? You know, I looked that up as well. You know, I remember going in, looking up dating yourself, loving yourself, self-love. you don't even know what I came across. You don't even want to know what I came across on the internet when you put in self-love, especially when you go to, there was a section from the Urban Dictionary. They weren't talking about master dating, okay? They weren't talking about how to become a master dater, if you know what I mean. I mean, so self-love has this very, like, everyone's confused about what self-love means. So if you're going to love your life and your life's work well, you got to start by getting in touch with your soul. And I've seen and heard, you know, soul being defined as your mind, your will, and your emotions. And allowing your mind, will, and emotions, and I really call that your feelings. You know, your feelings, those thoughts and feelings that come from your soul. And allowing them to line up with your heart and to engage with and become one with your heart. And I define the heart as your place of knowing. When you know that you know that you know. So you have your heart and you have your soul coming together as one, in a dating, relating, committed relationship. That is what it takes, getting in touch with your heart and soul. So often we have a feeling, and instead of allowing ourselves to actually connect with it and get to know it and discover some things about it, instead what we do is we should on ourselves. We say we should not be feeling this way. You shouldn't be feeling this way. Why are you feeling this way? Instead of actually addressing how you feel and allowing yourself to feel as you heal. I tell patients, I tell coaching clients all the time, you got to feel it to heal it. My journey of healing began when I began to feel, and I began to heal through the process by dating myself well. And I know that that is possible for you as well. The next thing you must do besides connecting with your soul is engaging in your life. I said to someone the other day, I said, you know, if you're not getting from point A to point B, whether that's a physical location or most importantly, an internal location, a desire, you know, if you're not actually connecting in your own soul and you're not getting to your desired love or your committed love, whatever that may mean for you, either A, you're not in your car, so you haven't even stepped into the game yet, or B, you've got your foot on the brake. So you got to ask yourself, like, at what point are you going to engage in this thing called your life, your love life? At what point are you going to engage in that? And then L, like, you got to absolutely like and love your now. You must like and love your now. I waited for like this future time or this future someone or this somewhere to engage. You can waste so much time being in what I call a holding pattern. You know, perhaps your weight problem, your heaviness is due to waiting and waiting and waiting to actually, you know, ignite and engage yourself and put the key in the ignition and drive, my friend. Drive and allow yourself to be led as you ride in this journey of life with your heart and with your soul. And then, you know what, no matter what, find that place within your heart that is speaking to you. It's that still small voice that is saying, please listen, please engage with me, please join me in this journey. That, my dear, is your life's work. It is that call that wakes you up in the morning. It's that call that wakes you up in the middle of the night. It is that call that only is for you. Only for you. The call on your life is for you, and nobody else can answer it but you. But once you answer that call and you engage with your heart and your soul and you begin to like and love your now, you can invite others on this journey with you, which will be absolutely the most incredible dating experience of your life. It's time for you to become masterful at dating yourself well. You know, I mentioned that a year ago, I launched Date Yourself Well. And it's been an incredible journey. When I launched it as an ebook because my thought was, hey, it's going to get to bestseller, and once it hits bestseller, then we'll do it in print. But what I didn't know at the time was that when I launched it, 3 days later, we would hit #1 on the bestseller list. But what I didn't know was 2 days later, both my parents were going to be killed in a car accident. Didn't know that at the time. So let me tell you, the journey over the last 365 days has been a journey that has taken me deeper into my heart and my soul than ever before. And I am so grateful that you're here with me on this journey today as we journey into the next, 9 days of our 21-day journey. I'm going to be teaching you some things that, let me tell you, will absolutely set you free, not only in self-love, but in loving your life and life's work well. Also this week, I'm very happy to announce that the print copy is going to be released for Date Yourself Well. Also, so excited about sharing the 12 engagements of becoming the great lover of your life in print copy. So I'll keep you posted on that. I hope you got something today. Ask yourself, right now, ask yourself, where am I not connecting with my heart and soul? Where am I not engaging? Where am I not liking and loving my now? And where am I not listening and answering the call? Take some time today with your journal. Only you can answer that. And then be brave and bold enough to begin to take action and ask yourself, ask your life out on a date today. This is Dr. Shannon, inspiring minds that want to know and hearts that want to grow so you can love your life well.